Hi guys, this is Anushka Chhari here. I recently gave my NPTE in July and I've scored 781 out of 800. I joined StudyBuddy in last October, where when my friend Phile, he suggested me to join it. So we started with lectures. I still remember my first lecture was Ankit sir's shoulder lecture for MSK, and trust me guys, the very first day I was lost. I was so overwhelmed with so many concepts and things that I didn't know. Even after completing my bachelor's and practicing for 2 years in Bombay, I still felt like I don't know anything, and I was shook. I was not sure whether I'll be able to clear this exam or not. But then sir just kept saying that, Anushka, dive into it, keep going and you'll be able to do it. I started watching the recorded lectures because I was working part-time in my college as a cashier. So I didn't have the time to watch the live lectures, so I used to watch the recorded lectures at night. And while watching lectures, I used to make my notes. So make sure that whenever you guys are watching the lectures, at that very moment you start making your own concise notes. I had printed all the PPTs and I used to write down my notes in that. But you guys could, just keep a separate book and make your concise notes in that. So then I first finished all the MSK lectures and made notes of that. I finished Neuro, made all the notes of that. And when I used to watch those lectures and sir used to give reference of any textbook, I used to just write down the page number, so that later on when I'm going through my notes, at that time I'll just go through that textbook, either click a picture of that page or print that page and keep it separately in a file. And at the end, that was my cheat sheet. So I used to go through those notes every day. I wouldn't say that it was very easy for me to juggle between my masters, my part-time job and the preparation for the boards. It was very difficult because I had to attend lectures during the evenings. The entire day I was working, and by the time I used to reach back home, I used to be very tired to sit and study. But I was very motivated. I was like, I have to do it and I have to clear it in one go. So it wasn't really easy, but it is manageable. If you really put your heart and soul into it, and if you think that you really want this bad enough, you will be able to do it. And during the last 3 months, I left my job. So I was completely devoted to the preparation. Ankit sir, he teaches us MSK and cardio, and trust me guys, he makes those two subjects a piece of cake for you guys. Like when I started, I never thought I'll be able to read ECGs. It used to be all Greek and Latin for me, and now I can actually read ECGs and tell you what is happening to the patient. And I always dreaded MSK. Back in Bombay, I used to work in a neurosurgery department, so I had no touch with MSK and I used to run away from that subject. But Ankit sir, he made sure that I am not avoiding that subject, going through it. So I really love this point about him, that even though he had to handle so many students in the class, but he made sure that he was giving his personal attention to each and every student. We never felt that we are being neglected or something. So he used to text us, he used to text me to ask whether I started with MSK or not. And when I used to tell him that no sir, I have not, he used to tell me, Anushka, just dive into it, you can do it. So I started with MSK. And the way he taught us concepts, trust me, my basics were not very clear. Even after completing my bachelor's and working as a physiotherapist for 2 years, when I started attending his lectures, I realized that my basics were not clear and there was so much that I had to learn. And the way he taught those concepts, it is ingrained in my mind now. Even in sleep, I can answer those questions. I still remember I used to find lower limb kinematics very difficult. I have watched those lectures over 3 to 4 times and I was still not able to understand what is exactly happening in lower limb kinematics. And I used to bombard sir with so many messages, ask him silliest and silliest of doubts. But he used to patiently clear all my doubts. And then he'll make sure that he'll call me, and then on the call he explained me the lower limb kinematics with examples, made me solve questions. That is how I was able to get through that topic. And now I'm pretty sure that I can solve those questions. So Mayank sir, he teaches us neuro, and trust me, even if you don't love the subject, I'm 110% sure you will start loving the subject. The way he teaches neuro, I didn't find any need to open Sullivan once. I carried Sullivan all the way from India to US, one thinking that I'll be, needing that book, but I did not open that book even once. His notes were so much concise, precise, on point to whatever we need for the exams. And I feel once you've done with his notes, his PPTs that he provides, there was no need for me to open Sullivan or any other book. There were few tables that sir was very specific about that we have to go back and look from the books. I have gone through only those 3 tables. For example, one was one SCI table for the spinal cord injury. So sir was very sure that we have to go and read that table from the book. So I guess that was the only thing. Otherwise, his notes and his lectures are more than enough to clear neuro. Other system and non-system is taught by Purvi ma'am, Pooja ma'am, Shivani ma'am, Mansi ma'am. These people have made the subjects so easy. They have given us mnemonics, pictures. They share their personal experiences. And while I was writing the exams, there were stories popping up in my head that Pooja ma'am had explained us during the lecture, or she had shared her personal experience. And those stories have helped me solve few questions in the exam. And non-systems, I can swear on anyone, I have not touched a single book. Just Purvi ma'am's compiled notes. She has provided us a compiled notes of non-systems, and that is more than enough to clear any exam, not just NPTE. You can clear any exams with those notes. They were so on point. I had taken mentorship. So the mentorship program starts about 3 months prior to the exam. So once we were done with all the lectures and all the self-study lectures from the portal, we start with the mentorship. I had taken Shri ma'am's mentorship and my lecture started somewhere around May. So what we used to do in these lectures, ma'am used to send us a link, and this used to be one-on-one class with ma'am. And we had lectures around thrice a week for about 2 to 3 hours, and we only solved questions in these lectures. It was so stimulating, so necessary for us to solve those kind of questions. And trust me guys, if you can solve Shri ma'am's question, there is no way you cannot clear NPTE. I still remember the very first lecture I attended, I cried after the lecture because I was so overwhelmed by so many things, and I could not solve her questions. So I was like, maybe I'm not ready for the exam. So at that point, my roommate, she told me that if you can solve her questions, there is no way you're not clearing this exam. And she was right. I did clear the exam. Her questions were so stimulating. There were so many things that I learned. And she used to teach us strategies, how to pick up the keywords, how to use anticipation, how to use the elimination strategy. Even if some new concept comes up in the exam, which will happen, guys. So even if there's a new concept, you've never heard about it, she will teach you points that how you can still get to the correct answer by just eliminating the wrong ones. So we have learned all of this in her lectures. And ma'am used to give us a timetable for like the entire week. So we used to study those topics every day. And during the lectures, we used to solve questions. And ma'am used to not tell us that which topic are we solving the questions on, because she didn't want us to read the topics before the lectures. That is how she used to test our memory, like how much do we retain. And she asked us to give practice exams. So I have given around 9 to 10 practice exams before I had taken the actual exam. And we used to give these practice exams on every Friday, so that we had at least the weekend to go through the rationals and solve the rationals. So ma'am used to ask us to complete the exam, solve the rationals, and then give her a call. And then we used to discuss everything that I went wrong. So ma'am used to teach me the topics that I was weak in and why am I getting those questions wrong. And she asked me to note a pattern, that if I'm getting the similar kind of questions wrong in all the exams, and if so, I have to go back, watch the lecture of that topic. If not, if just once and twice, she used to just ask me to go back, read a topic, or so many times she used to send her own notes, what she made during her exams. She used to send her own notes, and they were so helpful. We used to go through her notes, and the way she used to teach us, like over the call, during the lectures. So like for me, Shri ma'am's mentorship was really helpful. It has personally helped me so much as far as it comes to the academics. Other than that, she has helped me, keep me sane during this entire process, because it can get overwhelming, it can get mentally taxing at one point, but she has kept me sane. She used to give me calls and just, text me, send us motivational quotes. So I thank her a lot. So when I started preparing for the NPTE, I had booked my exam slot quite early, so I knew that I was going for the morning slot for the exam. So I made sure that I used to get up and sit and solve questions at that time. So if my exam was from 9 to 2, I used to make sure that at least 9 to 10 I am solving questions, and sir will tell you to solve at least 50 questions every day. And that is so beneficial, because your brain will get used to solving those questions at that very moment. And later on, when I left my job, I used to sit continuously for 5 hours at one place. So I used to start from 9 until 2 o'clock. I used to sit at one place, just give myself a 15 minutes break around 11. So that is how I trained myself to sit at one place and not get tired and build up the endurance. And trust me guys, repetition is the key. Watch all the lectures as many times as you want. I have watched the lectures at least 3 times. And first time I went through the lectures, I made my notes. Second time I again went to the lectures, and I realized that there were many things that I missed during the first time, which I understood while I was watching the lecture for the second time. And by the third time when I was watching the lectures, I knew the concepts, I knew the lines that sir is going to say after this. So it was kind of learning just by listening to them over and over again. And make your own notes, concise your notes. I had made a lot of post-it notes, and I used to stick them up on my walls and windows, and I used to go through them, like if not every day, after every other day, or at least before every practice exam that I used to give. I used to go through all my wall and the cheat sheet. So the idea of the cheat sheet came from my mentor, Shri ma'am. She used to always tell me that, Anushka, now that you've started giving practice exams, you know what you're missing or what you're going wrong in. So start making a notebook, like start making your own cheat sheet. So whatever things you forget, you put it down in that, and make sure to go through that every day. Like every morning you start with those things and do them every day. So I had a file which I kept next to my bed. So after every exam, I knew what things I am going wrong in, or what are the things that I am forgetting very frequently. So I used to write them down, or either print them out, put them in the file, and every day go through my cheat sheet. And that has helped me so much. When I started giving my exams, I used to lose marks in dermatomes and myotomes. And when Shri ma'am told me this, I started going through dermatomes and myotomes every day. That was a game changer for me. My neuro marks went so up after that, because I was able to remember those. All these memory-based questions you'll be only able to solve them if you have the cheat sheet and you're going through them every day. So few tips that I would like to give you guys going for NPTE now. Make sure to watch all the lectures at least 2 times. Make your own concise notes, because at the end you don't want to sit with pile of notes and textbooks. Trust me, there's no time to go through everything at the end. So you have to make your own concise notes. Make a cheat sheet. Put all the things that you think you forget or you are weak at it. Revise every day. Make your notes. Print those pictures. Stick it in your wall or your office desk or your kitchen. Wherever you are, just put those pictures. Go through them every day. You can even keep pictures in your phone. So while you're traveling, just keep going through those pictures. You can download the PPTs in your phone. What I used to do was solve questions. So we have the NPTE StudyBuddy app. So every morning when I used to not feel like getting up and sitting and studying. So the first thing I used to do was solve a question. And if I got the question right, I was motivated. I used to get up happily and sit and study. But if I used to get the question wrong, I was scared. I was like, okay, I have to study right now. That is what I used to do. So you can like solve questions in that. Sir used to always update topic of the day. That has helped me so much. So many new things that I have come across was from the app, from the topic of the day. What I used to do was take a screenshot of that. It used to be a very nice thing, like concised points of the topic in one, like it will fit your screen. And I used to take screenshot of that, and whenever if I am in the bathroom or I'm going for grocery shopping or we are cooking in the kitchen, I used to just flip through those images in my phone. And that is how I used to like utilize my time while I was not sitting and studying. So there are times where you will get tired, you would not want to read books. You can maybe just lie down, put on your headphones, start a lecture, not actually watch the lecture, but just listen to it. Like I am a person who can learn through the audios. So it was very beneficial for me. At times when I used to not feel like sitting on a table and reading any book or writing down anything, I used to do this. Just lie down and listen to the lecture. It's okay even if you fall asleep after some time, but you know that you have still utilized your time and you have at least, you're listening to something. And it will help you. Even at that point you feel that you don't remember anything, but when you come across a question, your brain will give you the answer. So do not doubt yourself. Make concise notes, go through the lectures, revise every day, solve questions every day. I cannot emphasize on this even like more than this. You have to solve questions every day and ask yourself questions that why the option C is right and why option B is right. And then you can, maybe try changing the question, that if someone wants to make option B right, what kind of a question can they ask? If I want to make option A right, what will be the question? So this way you're stimulating your brain. So it is very important to solve questions. There are so many things that I have learned just through questions and their options. I remember going through questions like in pediatrics. I have never read those topics somewhere, but there were questions on it. So when you solve questions, you come across so many new things and your brain is stimulated. You get knowledge of so many things, and whenever you come across something new, just write it down then and there. Take a post-it note, just make a sticky note and stick it somewhere. So at the end, while you're revising everything, you can just go through those sticky notes. You know that, okay, at least like 4 points about some new topic that you've come across. So solving question is very important. I used to solve 50 to 60 questions every day, put a timer of 60 minutes. I used to give 1 minute to each question. That is how I managed to finish my exams 20 minutes earlier. I had 20 minutes to go through the last section. I completed it. I had enough time to go back and review and check everything that I have answered. And one thing that Shri ma'am used to tell me every time, and I did that mistake a lot, I don't want you guys to do that mistake, is do not change your answers. Do not self-doubt yourself. I used to do that so much during my practice exams. Like I used to mark a question, flag it, and then go back, overthink on that question so much, and then I used to end up changing the answer. And those questions that I've changed the answer to were always wrong. And the first answer was right. So Shri ma'am used to always tell me that, Anushka, do not change your answer. So I don't want you guys to do the same mistake. Trust yourself, trust your brain. The first instinct, what answer it gives, it's the right answer. Just go with it. Only if you're 1001% sure that this is not the right answer and you can give yourself a rationale to it, that why option C is right and not B, only then go ahead and change your answers. Otherwise, do not do that mistake. And repetition is the key. Revise, keep revising it every day. Your notes, the lectures, the PPTs, just keep going through them every day. The rationals, when you start solving the practice questions, the practice exams, do those rationals every day. Repetition is the key. It will take you ahead. So do that, guys. Living alone over there with my entire family here, it wasn't easy because there was no one to check on me over there. They used to call me, be there for me, but I had to keep myself on track. Like, make sure that I'm up by 5:30 every day, and I start studying. By 9, I am on my table, sitting at one place, solving questions, going through the rationals properly every day. So it isn't easy, guys. Like, if you really want this, you have to put in the hard work, but it is not something that is not possible. You can do it. If I can do it, all of you guys can do it. But you just need the discipline. And there's the StudyBuddy team is there to help you. They do not leave your back unless and until you have cleared the exam. Everyone is there to call you, help you solve all the questions, motivate you. Sir has even set up Zoom calls with us to solve questions with us. Mayank sir has called me and we have cleared so many doubts. He has motivated me so many times to do my best. Whenever I used to doubt myself, Shri ma'am used to always tell me one thing, that Anushka, you can do it. She has shown so much faith and trust in me that even I used to feel that yes, ma'am is believing in me so much and I can do it.